Belinda down the outside is running a race. It's Cabalas a length in front. Belinda goes to second, beating off Soldier of Rome. But Cabalas in full control. First run for Derby Racing and Björn Baker, and Cabalas wins as expected.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. Walt's a little bit late. It's a bit of a traffic jam, or there's been a praying somewhere on the Gold Coast Highway. But DK and Nico join me down in Melbourne town. DK, looks like you've lowered the years. Looking fresh.
Much needed, Scoot, much needed. It was like the wild man from Borneo there last week. But, yes, went and had trim and took Junior with me. He got his first fade. I didn't know what a fade was, but he said, I want a fade, Dad. So he's looking pretty sharp too with his new fade. And anyway, I thought I'd be the one late this morning, Scoot. I sent you that message saying I had kids and shit going on everywhere at home this morning. But for one time of the year, the traffic was in my favour, so I'm in here to give you a job out.
What a blessing that the kids are going back to school. It was a long summer, let me tell
6
you.
weeks.
It's just torture. One man that doesn't have to worry about that just yet is Nico Noonan. How are you, Nico? You wouldn't have to worry about a fade either.
No, none of those things ever sort of crossed my mind. But we're doing well down here. I thought January was going to be a month potentially that wasn't as busy as a few others, but it's turning into a bloody busy month down here. So head down bar, just doing a lot of form recently, and this weekend's huge with Friday and Saturday racing in Victoria. It's pretty much like an 18 race card. They're all sort of just Saturday standard of race. So it's been a busy time down here. Plus getting in a bit of form for Tasmania, Launceston Derby, I think it is this weekend, or Guineas. So Bold Soul goes over there to race down in Tassie. So no, it's going to be a huge weekend, but looking forward to it. And then Great Western on Sunday as well, DJ. I'm sure you'll be fired up for that.
Absolutely, can't wait. Great Western, leaders track.
Definitely jumped the ditch in terms of spring to, I guess, the early autumn. The races are just absolutely tantalising over the next couple of days. And as you say, big races across the ditch over in Tassie, and the real ditch, I suppose, is over in New Zealand as well. So they got the Karaka Day on Saturday, and friends of ours, the boys get paid. Mob, I tell you what, they've got a massive kitty brewing, and it's hard to sort of ignore. 1.5 to 1.7 is their pool bank, so it's going to get a lot of mainstream interest. It's amazing what happens when you get some industry support behind you, but they've had 50,000 on Cool and Fast at $21 into $6, and that's in race 4 in the Karaka Millions. And then they've had in the Westbury Classic, they've had 100,000 at $14 on Faraglione, and that's now into $5.50. So they've got a bit of a task at hand. It's a 6-race program, trying to turn over 1.5 to 1.7. No easy task in those short amount of races. A lot of shorties there, but they're doing a good job. 850 people to their function, which is just monster. It's a cracking day, and gosh, they'd nearly be tempted to push this out to like a 7-race program. I know they're trying to make it a short day. Why is it only 6
races, Scoot? Why do we get like 10 or 11 at Magic Millions and stuff like that, and 10 race cards here, and there's only 6 over there?
Well, I just don't think they want to burden the new. This is their showcase day, and the band cranks up at about 4 o'clock, and everyone stays there till 9 o'clock at night. So I guess it's just the tradition at this stage. But the weirdest thing is there's 30 to 35 minute gaps between the races, so they could easily shorten that by, you could shave maybe 8 minutes off that, or take them to sort of 25 or 27. And now they've got so much interest, especially with the betting bank involved, they'd be mad not to try and get to push it to 7 races. Fair enough if they don't want to creep to 8, but it'd be pretty easy just to shave a couple of minutes off here and there, especially when the gaps are so big. But one day you're just definitely going to have to do it. If you've got a Bucks trip or a lads trip, it's a cracking day because as soon as the races finish, everyone just spews onto the front lawn, DJ, and the drink goes as good as anything. So, it's remarkable there, and they've done a little bit of a reno there. So, exciting scenes, and be interesting to see. You got Legato going around. Legato, $1.50 chance, Nico, against a horse like Holy Man's. Should take some beating, I would have thought.
Yeah, it didn't look like much. I just had a quick look before, but it didn't look like there was much depth in her race. And then I think there's another favourite earlier today that's $1.30. So I don't know, maybe they roll those two into each other or just have a big crack at one of them, I would have thought. Legato, she just looks classes above a few of her rivals. But I think it might be racing.com as well if you're going to tune in down here. So, it was on there last week, so I'm assuming it'd be on there again.
Well, that'd help them out turn over the money, isn't it? Taking some short odds.
Yeah.
They got turned the whole lot over, don't they, Scoot? Over 6 races.
Could be boom or bust.
Logistical issues there.
Could be boom or bust though. They could easily dust $1 million. If one or two of those shorties go over, they could do the lot. But if Legato or the other $1.30 chance went over, you'd be thinking that $500,000 or $1 million might be in the hole, and hopefully they can just swing at something sort of middle pin and get a result for all the investors. But definitely creates a huge amount of interest, and I'd be surprised if Australian punters don't follow suit with the telecast across racing.com. So it's good to see a little bit more content there.
Is it like Hong Kong and Japan and that the rules over there? They only allowed to bet with a tote. Is that why it's so strong? Just like they don't have sports bets and Ladbrokes and all that, and all the 50 different betting shops. Majority of people just bet with a tab. Is that why it's so strong?
Very difficult to get in there from a marketing perspective. So you can only go sort of via stealth. And I think NZ punters have to find their own way onto Australian betting sites. And you just basically can't advertise above the line, or it's only existing customers that have sort of found you that you can advertise to sort of below the line as far as I know. So, yeah, it's a bit of a closed shop.
Yeah.
But I think Entain want to just drag the two brand strategy there. So they'll have an Entain brand, and then they'll have the New Zealand tab. So I guess punters will think they've got a second choice if they don't like the New Zealand tab, or they want to try something new. So interesting to see how it washes out, but I'm sure it'll be a big day turnover wise. Last week, a little bit of a pat on the back for Sam. There was a couple of sickos. Donnie was good with his best, absolutely gutting result. $5.50 into $2.60 with Dream Smart, and Gerald's big 2-year-old just reeled us in, and I could just feel like you could just hear the keyboard smash phones, a lot of broken hardware everywhere with that one. It felt like all racing Twitter was behind us on that one, but that's as sick as they get when you get a price like that. What was good with Cabalus? Really looks like it wasn't overly dominant, the win. I guess it was soft, but still needs to lift a little bit if he's going to roar right through the grades. But hopefully there's some improvement left in him. But it was an easy watch sort of nonetheless. Power Peg was a bit of a forgive Walt's other tip. Nico, you were very strong with your Tassie double, 2 from 2, Wings of Song and Alhambra Lad. Seeing them like beach balls over there in Tassie, which is brilliant. The Cunning Fox set off a bit of a plunge there. I sort of gave you a little bit of a tickle and a little bit of help there. So just goes to show it doesn't take much with the big roughies. I'm just not sure that the minimum bet laws sort of cater for horses outside the market. You can sort of have, what, $13?
They don't, Scoot. Worst thing to do is to find a 70-1 chance because you can't get on the thing.
Yeah, it's really difficult to get on, and maybe needs a little bit of a revisit or a rethink, because you would have thought someone like Tab or any bookies can take a bigger bet than sort of 13 or 20 or $30 on some of these roughies outside the market, because it's just impossible, and they're going to hold an absolute fortune anyway. You've had a bit of a makeover, DK, not just the haircut, but you're a Metro man now, right? You're a
El
Solido,
hit the target,
Mornington Glory.
A couple of horses I knew well. El Soliado was one there, wasn't it? And I'll tell you what, what's in the back of my mind with it when I had a good look at it was, the narrative was it was a distance query, and then it's got Mark Zahar on it. And I think, he got gold trip to run 3,200. So if something's going to get the horse to run the trip, and then look at the ride he put in on it, like some ride on a horse who's a distance query, my God. And then Mornington Glory was probably helped by the track buys there, swapped the runs with the Nick Ryan thing and probably swapped the result. But, 1,000 metres, I think it's backing up again this week. So a couple less scoop, but I had to redeem myself after I'm cured forever, have dingoes staying maidens, and after that Friday night, that was a bit embarrassing. But anyway, you're only as good as your last tip, you move on.
That's all right. You just got to keep throwing darts and just move on quickly. I look like the winner with Bet You the Crown. Last 50 metres, Torture, Substantial just reeled me in, and then Alcyone clearly just maybe just one more away or looking for the 1,600, and terrific. It's going to be probably half the price this weekend. It's going to be on the back up. It's going to go to the Sunshine Coast, and it's going to be well suited again. But yeah, I guess you could sort of follow that horse up, but the Sydney Class was just too good. And there was another one, I think, on the lead was another one that was maybe a distance query at the 1,200, but it just goes to show some of those Sydney horses just got panels on the Brisbane form, and that was a well-timed ride with Ryan Maloney to win last week. But the Steamers have been in good form as well. Cabalus, 1,200 at $2.80, so pays to follow those ones. TopSport is where They take on us for our big punters clubs, and they also offer great products. They got the protest payout, top fluck, best on the best of Group 1 races. So I'll be looking forward to that as the carnivals sort of warm up there. And better still, they're Australian owned and operated. So your money's staying onshore, which is an absolute beauty. Nico, it's Caulfield, Australia Racing tomorrow, which looks absolutely sensational. I think you're going to throw out some thoughts on the Telegram link. We still haven't changed it. We'll include it in this week's email just so you guys can get any of his thoughts, because obviously very sharp operator when it comes to 2-year-olds. So stay tuned. If you've been looking at the Telegram link, something might pop through, and then your service will start in February. But the first race you can have a look at here at Caulfield Friday is race 5, and that's the WJ Adams, the Bill Adams Stakes over 1,000 metres. Odds courtesy of TopSport. Varvia is the favourite here, $3. Katsu $4.40. Foxycon $6.50. Najim Sahale $7. Q-Man $8. Indian Pacific $9.50. And you got Great Mama $10 and Sweet Ride $16. Replay we're going to have a look at here is Katsu first up in the Kensington Stakes. Tell us why you like it.
Yeah, I thought this was a good win. Probably one of the stronger races he's run in, really. And Naheem Sahale's there, Malkovich, Rich Fortune. Like, it was a solid race on paper, and I think he's just come back better this campaign. He's never really a horse that took my eye on the mounting yard, but I sent him out on top there and was filthy I didn't end up backing him. But I think he's just gone for a bit of a Boyd or Matt this preparation. He just looks like a different horse looking at him in the yard. And I thought that first up win, the way he jumped out, might be showing on the track as well. So I think he just may have improved. He's always been a horse that's had a fair bit of ability, and now they just might be the penny's just fully dropped with him. So stays in the same sort of class. I wouldn't say Vivia's $3 here off she won really well at Geelong, but it was a mare's race over 1,200. She's had one win in her career at 1,000 metres, and she beat La Gioia, who was on English Digital getting flogged off yesterday. So I don't really think that was form, the 1,000-metre race that she won, and now she's got to come back a distance. There's a good amount of speed here, which will probably suit her, but I think Katsu, he probably showed to me there that he doesn't have to necessarily lead races to win. He can probably just sit in behind him again, and he had a really good turn of foot late. So maybe this 1,000-metre distance is just where he's at his absolute best. Just got to pop off the fence with Geordie Childs aboard, who's had a terrific summer. And I thought he probably should be favourite. So at the price, I'm pretty happy to bet up. I think everything's sort of lining up for me. Thought he'd come back better in the yard. First up win was dominant, and he gets a really good map. So at sort of $4.60, I think he is at the moment. $4.40, sorry. Seems pretty good odds to me.
I'd tend to agree there, Nico. I thought he could have been a little bit vulnerable first up, and facing a horse like Najim Sahale, who's just rock hard fit, loves the straight. I thought he made pretty light work of him, and I agree with Vavia. I was surprised Katsu wasn't favourite in this market, and my only query is if he doesn't lead and doesn't control, maybe just a traffic jam would be probably the biggest risk to him losing if he just got stuck and boxed in. He's obviously looks like he's got a big stride on him. I was just hoping that he could get clear air at some stage. So it doesn't matter if they go fast or slow. I think this horse eats pressure and has got a pretty powerful finish. I think he can go on with it, this horse. I think he's better than this grade. DK, any thoughts?
No, similar to Nico. That was my thoughts. Just looking at him, I thought that was his all in his first prep last time. And you think I'd say G. Beg looks like he's got a better handle on him. The horse has developed. I was just noticing, it used to be an old pearl, this jump out between runs. I used to love them, but now everyone's doing it. It's just common part of training now. But you love to see them, how they move in between runs. He moved terrific. So, the problem with the issue was here, the Grey Happy, was if there's a carve up the front, because I don't like them back in distance, 1,200 back to 1,000. There are thousands its own island, as we keep saying. No, these are 1,000-metre horses, but just wouldn't want them torching each other up the front and putting it on for Varvia. But no, Katsu, I landed on it on top as well. Outstanding.
All right, all agree. So we'll launch into that one. Race 6 is the Thailand Porter Manfred Stakes. Looks a cracker, this one. Stapati is back. Bit for big Ricky McIntosh and the boys. $3. Brave Mead's been backed 5 into $4.60. Carbonados is $5. King Colorado $7. Southport Tycoon $7.50. Centify $11. Amigo $15, and Wolfie $18. Southport Tycoon and Centify are dual acceptors here, so it'll be interesting to see which way they go. There could be some deductions in store here, but the favourite is the horse that you've landed on, Nico, and you like his trial here. I think he's in the red jacket, sort of midfield here, but talk us through it.
Yeah, superb trial, just as we watched through, but just got a bit of information. Brave Mead to the Manfred, which is this race. Southport Tycoon to the Australia Stakes, and they're still undecided on Centre Spy, so that might have been on the radio just before or something. But yeah, here's Tapati down the outside at stall, and some handy horses back to his inside, a few sharp sprinters, and he goes just as well as any of them. I think it's probably the best I've seen him trial, like just under double wraps pretty much, never asked for an effort, super strong through the line, just looks like he's come back flying this campaign. He's had like a 100-day break, and he was off for 80 days into his last win, and probably had a little bit more residual fitness. But, you know, you look through this horse's career, he's probably one, you know, plain or bad run was third in the Caulfield Guineas. Like that's the worst run he's ever run his career. And it was a race where, you know, it was a pretty funny run race with Griff going to the lead and nothing else really taking part. So I think that's happy enough to forgive. And apart from that, he's unbeaten. So I thought he found a pretty good race here to step up first up. I know there's probably a little bit of a question mark on his fitness and all those kind of things, but he couldn't have trialled much better. And I think from the map, I wouldn't be surprised if they did ride him cold like they did in that jump out, probably take a seat, jumped really well there, and then they took him back to sort of, you know, midfield. So in a race that lacks a bit of speed, that'd probably be the query. I think Carbonados might be the leader, and then the party could be spotting him, I'd say at least 3 lengths, maybe 5 if Carbonados rolls along. But I think either way, if they go really slow, he's got a weapon turn of foot. The horse is absolutely flying. And then if they go fast, he's probably the best horse. So I sort of thought, you know, maybe at $2 you could find Knox given that. But at $3, I'm probably more happy to back him at that price to knock him in a race where Carbonados had a fair bit of improvement to come from the yard first up, and does look like a horse that, you know, could keep progressing through the grades, but this is a big step up to take on a few of these horses. I thought Southport Tycoon was a danger, but he's probably not going to run. King Colorado will need 2,000 this preparation to get warm off what we've seen. Centify the same. Like, he looks like he's looking for a mile already. So, yeah, I thought Tapati at $3 was, you know, there's still a little bit of a risk because he's first up and this is his grand final, but I'm just backing in the class horse, and what we saw at the trials, I think he's good enough, and he looks like he's forward enough to win this.
TK?
Oh, I love the horse. I love Tapati. So, you sort of get attached to some good horses, and I really, really like him. So I went and had, you know, he's for resuming, so I sort of looked for an angle with Carbonados there. But, you know, I know Carbonados has got the fitness advantage and probably have a map advantage, but, geez, if he couldn't run past Carbonados, I'd be disappointed. So, he'd have to have that trial. He tried up the likes of no fitness, but it's Prushka's. You know, he gets his horses fit. He loves this horse. He'll be looking after him. So, yeah, no, I expect let him rip down the middle and come fresh legs, outsprint him.
Tamayo, yeah, I sort of had a bit of a query on him in the Caulfield Guineas just at a mile. So I think if they keep this horse at 1,400 metres, I think he'll be deadly in nearly anything he goes in. So he's a clear on top selection for me, Tapati. And yeah, the horses that interest me outside of that would be Centify and King Colorado. But again, they both might be needing the run. And I'm interested to hear that Southport Tycoon's going to race against the older horses with the Australia Stakes, because that's an interesting one, and we might just talk about that without going into too much depth or any of the replays. But what do you think, DK, in terms of those younger horses taking on the older horses? It doesn't look like a vintage Australia Stakes. It's never really the strongest sort of race, but
depends how to come up, Scoot. So it'd been on the strength, and that's I was looking through that field. Geez, it's not much of a race, is it? So you can see them while they're having a crack there. And another time, it's sort of dependent on the time of the year, you know. You know, time of the year with them when they've got an edge, those younger horses. So, no, I'd say depend on the strength. There's a shorty there, like there's a moral they couldn't beat. They'd probably run against their own age. But that race seems a bit open to me.
I thought it was completely up for grabs. And $3, I saw V8 open, and I'm a big fan of this horse. I think 1,200's good for him. I think he's a better horse over 1,400 metres, but $3 into evens or whatever those games that the sports bets were playing, I was sort of a little bit shocked there, and I thought, is he over the line this horse? I couldn't figure out why, or is it because they do the funny deductions and they just don't want to apply any deductions once a couple of these dual nominators come out? I was trying to get my head around why that was that sort of big push. They've started to go back out to sort of 225. You've got TopSport at 235, but I just couldn't have him at probably even money. The favourite V8, obviously Damien Lane, great rider for Moonee Valley, but I thought it was a little bit wide open this race. I'm sure that the 3-year-olds are in the race, but I couldn't back it with free money myself. Nico?
Yeah, it's interesting because you got the Manfred, which is Stepardi and Colour in, and then the Australia Stakes, and pretty much a lot of those horses are looking to go this CF4 by the sounds of it, like Stepardi and V8. So you think they're probably going to be peaking second up, but they're both, V8's very short in the Australia Stakes. Maybe it's a weaker race because, there doesn't seem like the depth that potentially in the older horses, but he hasn't had a jump out, which I found interesting, V8. So he's just pretty much fresh from his run in the Coolmore. He's a massive horse, V8. Like he's pretty much built like his sire Grunt. So I think he'd take a fair bit of work to get him up to the mark. Interesting enough, he hasn't sort of had any jump outs or trials leading in. So I couldn't really find anything to beat him, but I didn't want to back him either. It was a weird race.
Did hear Tony McAvoy say that they've barely, and I think they might have put him in a paddock for a week or two or barely spelled him, but then they've just kept him going on the Water Walker. So he sort of just had a mini break and not really a genuine spell. He just sort of ticked over. And I think given the size of him, they didn't want to sort of lose him or let him get sort of too far out of hand. So I think they've erred on the side of caution. So he may be wound up and fully ready to go, and it'll be fascinating to see what the betting does with it late. But at this stage, I'd be sort of leaving him alone at the short quote. Puntingform.com.au is what Nico uses for the majority of his form. If you want to transition to a part or full-time pro punter, make sure you get a hold of puntingform.com.au. It's a game changer for the pre and post race, and you can understand how the benchmark datas work and start to learn how to deep dive the form like we do here. Nico's service, as we said, will resume back in Feb, so take a bit of a look at his Telegram group if you want any of his thoughts, or tune into RSN because he's moonlighting there for the time being, or for the next week at least. I'm going to have a bit of a look at Sunshine Coast on Saturday, and I think I found one in race number 9. And it's the BMW Class 6 handicap over 1,200 metres here, and Heatchote's the favourite from the Rob Heathcote yard. It's 360 Zoom metre. Winner at the Gold Coast last time, $5. Viminelli is $7. Bow Rumble $8.50. Heroic Miss $8.50. On Point is $12. Sailor Secret $15. Windburn $15. And you're getting out to horses like Bruneuf, $18. A horse that you boys might know, Cooled at $20. Looks like a bit of a knockout too. Ex-Victorian horse now with Lauren Abbott. But the replay we're going to have a look at here is Viminelli. And this horse was, it's tailed off sort of last here in the red with the racing colour cap. Boom Talk is the horse that was $21 into 7. It's down the outside. Absolutely puts a hole in him here. The reference point here is the horse in the yellow with a red cap. That's Heatchote, and this horse now zooms right up to the top of the weights. He's got to carry 60 kilos, and Viminelli's now with 54.5, and you can just see Viminelli's just got absolutely no luck all the way up the straight. So I'm anticipating this horse is going to jump more forward from barrier 2. He's had 2 horror draws both times back in, so I think he's drawn from barrier something like 8 and 9. He's been snagged back to the last 2 starts, and he was absolutely scintillating at Doomben in the race behind Heatchote, and now gets the weight swing on him. And I think CRB put up a little bit of a mistake on yesterday on Wednesday. They put up $13, which is crazy. I definitely missed it, and I'm kicking myself that I did. But I still think sort of around the $7, $7.50, $8 is great shopping for this horse. So really keen to see him be put in the race. Jake Bayliss will mark him urgent. I'm absolutely sure this horse proved all last preparation that he can sit sort of midfield or in the first sort of 2, 3 or pairs, so he can definitely sit in the top 6 there. And I think just the weight will be too much for Heatchote. I think the danger's Zoomita. He'll go forward as well. So he just doesn't want to leave that horse too far out of his sights here. But I think it's a great each-way bet, Viminelli, and I think he'll be one of the best bets on the card at the Sunshine Coast on Saturday. But I just don't like the weight swing with Heatchote there. So that's my best for the weekend. You boys probably haven't got to Sunshine Coast given the amount of form. So I was sort of hoping to butt heads with Walt here.
No, wouldn't even know they're on.
There's so much racing on, isn't there, Nico? Like far around. Nico was saying it before. You think it's going to be quiet leading into Autumn Carnival, and there's 2 meetings today, 2 meetings tomorrow, there's meetings everywhere. So no, it doesn't stop. So on you go.
Yeah, it's definitely clear the calendar job, the social calendar. I've had to kick the missus out and say, look, we're not doing anything now. We're head down, bum up, and we're getting a doubleheader Saturday. So I'm sick for it. I'm keen to bet. And time to chat Sydney racing. And we've got the big doubleheader. We got Warwick Farm on Friday, but Saturday, Randwick. Outstanding.
Doubleheader. There'd be another word for it, like a 2-headed snake or something. It's very... I seen you tweeting the other day, it's the autumn's here or whatever. I'm like, and then I got excited, hadn't looked at any of the fields, and then I looked at them, I'm like, oh my God, you must have been looking somewhere other than Sydney. Holy cow.
What's going on in Sydney? So Friday you got 38 degrees and then 25 Saturday. They'll have to get that the wet bulb out at Warwick Farm
we
on
were
Friday.
up here, like you couldn't walk outside. You were getting zapped. Like it was like walking into a microwave out here, and you turn on the tennis in Melbourne and they're wearing jumpers. There's a bit of weird stuff going on weather-wise in there. It's crazy how quick the changes are, especially sort of Sydney and Melbourne. It's fucking madness.
I did see an article on the ABC saying that Penrith and the western suburbs of Sydney will just be abandoned and extinct in the future because it'll be too hot to inhabit
it's like
them.
$2 million for a house there at the moment, so you wouldn't want to be running away from it too quick. You'd just be. I think maybe I think our electricity bill's about $600 a month at the moment. I reckon Penrith will be a bit more than that. So anyway,
I did chuckle because they're going to sell Rose Hill, and then they're trying to move all the horses further
Penrith
out where it's
was
going to get hotter.
Literally the centre of Sydney now. I thought that was what they're not long ago. So I don't know who wrote that one, but they probably work for RaceNet.
No, it's just a weird one, isn't it, the ABC? Anyway, the good news is it's going to be drying conditions at Randwick, so none of that slop and hot and wet. So I'm interested to see how they water the track and whether lanes will be evident there. But race 2 is the one that Walty's going to sink his teeth in, and as I said, he's absolutely on fire with Cabalus and Testolator Silence. He's going for a hat trick of wins on the show. Race 2 is the midway.
Love those 6-4 chances. They're much more my go. Yeah, let's go.
We're into it. What are we into here? You found your spot.
Yeah.
Patrika misses a favourite here, $4.80 at TopSport. Magnetair $6. Jumaria Beach $7. Satnus $7. Timpanist is $8.50. Decadent Tail, $9.50. Wolves, $10. Uzaya is $20 into $14. Bit of a move there, and you're starting to get out to $16, $17, $20 the rest. Magnetair is the horse that you like here, Walt. I think you tipped it into your chat group, and Built wins the race with J-Mac, and you've got Magnetair just inside that in the black.
So, intention here was to be ridden more forward, and it kind of didn't go his way early, but they did go fast here, so somewhat flattered by the tempo. Built's obviously flying, come out and won Since racing really well, has a bit of a superior turn of foot to Magnetier, so that's why the plan was to be in front of it in the run in this race, and you'll see through the line, he's not a horse that can sprint off a dime, but he can certainly build through his gears. He had a few troubles getting out of the gates a couple of times, but there looks enough pressure here for him to probably find a similar spot to that race, and I would imagine compared to what happened there, his one instruction will be to go left. He'll be, there's a reason why Jason Collett's not on this horse. It's just go left at all costs and wind up. He was in race 6 as well, where he looked well suited also, but it's just everyone's kind of cottoned onto it that these midways are just a level below now, and he just looks super strong compared to a lot of horses here who sort of max out at a mile or they're not well set up, whereas he's certainly, at his peak. I think Sam's worked out that, 3 weeks between runs, staying at the mile looks like his absolute go at the moment, and you sort of get $6 or $7. It's amazing that he was the same price in both races, to be fair, and I see that he's only just come out of race 5, so, maybe he'll trim up a touch here just because most of these horses tend to find their level when they get to these races, and this guy does look to have a little bit of upside compared to the rest of them here. So, A. Morgan's probably not the ideal rider you want to find in town, but he knows the horse well. I think he sort of understands where it all went wrong last start, and hopefully he'll learn from that and get him to the middle at Randwick and give him his chance to wind up.
They're forgiving the Sydney trainers or the New South Wales trainers, or they just sort of seem tied to certain
Better
jockeys?
the devil you know, I think, in a lot of cases. They, if you can't get the one or two that you want, maybe, if you're getting sort of a 10% better jockey, potentially, you may be better off sticking with the one who you deal with all the time. They're going to put in. It's just a lot of these, it sounds bad, Sydney jockeys that aren't at the very top tend to take turns on them and
go missing.
Yeah, they just don't. Their heart and soul's not in every ride on appearance. They're maybe a little bit. They ride them a length further back. They're a little bit casual compared to the ones that are up the front on the better chances and hungry. They seem to be just sort of happy to earn what they earn, and when things fall their way, they win. So Ash is definitely going to be hungry on this horse. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, he just looks extremely well placed on a day that's just diabolically difficult. The 2-year-old's a good race. Early in the day, there's Gay's horse, Russian Roulette, and the Spruky horse, Switzerland, and there's a couple other first starters in there that look interesting. Godolphin horse down the bottom. It's probably the other highlight race on the day, but this one certainly looked a bit easy to work out from a form perspective.
What price? So $6 now. Bet it down to what, $4?
I think it'll stay around $6. He's not a trainer that they normally
Awkward map.
head towards. Yeah, and Ash as well. I don't think it'll firm up too much, but I probably that's where I'd price it around that $4 mark's probably realistic. And yeah, like whether it's a straight out better each way, it's probably going to find trouble. It's going to be strong. I don't mind backing these horses each way when you're getting sort of 6-4 a place. So yeah, it's if you like something else, maybe Dutch them up. But I think it's going to run very well.
Horse that I backed last start, so question without notice, Randwick race 6, number 6, Louisville. Now steps up to 2,000 metres. I think this horse could probably go 2,000 or maybe even get to 2,400 in time. How does he measure up in that race? Man behind the money, Aristonis.
The rest are beaten up, aren't they? And that's probably the key to this race, except for Man Behind the Money, who's third up. Is it ready? Is it one more? Aristonius is in a wilderness horse. Floating's going okay. Sort of gets back, needs all the luck deficit. You can sort of go through and poke massive holes in every other horse in the race. So by default, it's kind of a horse on the up. Very strange to see Waller clipping him, but I know he won on it last start, so I guess that's kind of a marriage there until it's not. But yeah, Randwick suits him. Midfield, get to the middle. Hard to knock. Probably starts a little bit shorter. I see Man Behind the Money's already sort of $9 to $3.50, whether that's due to scratchings or not. I think Mahogany's the only scratching. So yeah, I can't knock it. That's for sure. It's just one of those sort of take turns races, isn't it?
I just thought he just had more upside, and the extra I thought he only sort of just got there 1,800. I looked at him, I thought, gee, you need more, boy. You need 2,000 or 2,400.
He does, and he doesn't seem a horse that should suit Sam Clipperton. Maybe that inside gate flattered him a bit last start because when they know they're drawn inside, they have to sort of be alert and be aware of when to get going.
Yep.
And that hopefully he doesn't fall asleep from 6 is kind of what I'm saying, and give him too big a start because he definitely needs a bit of a rev and to be put in the race. And his advantage is probably that over, a horse like Floating or... Yeah, interesting. But
hey, might be for Kabosh might be the sacrificial lamb there. Wouldn't be the first time for the campaign either.
Like, I was talking to the sort of Magneteer crew a little bit about the running in the midway versus the race 5 race, and the problem in race 5 is Waller's got 3 or whatever it is in there, and you never know, you know what I mean, and they improve so sharply when they out of the wilderness as well. So I was like, you're better off, again, stick with the midway trainers who their horses tend to run a little bit more true to form and things are a little bit more predictable than taking on a group of Wallers like the Mighty Ducks. It's it gets a bit crazy at times.
In formation. Love that. Randwick race 2, number 13 is Walt's Best, and Scooty's going to put a little bit of a sprinkle on race 6, number 6 Louisville, and that'll be my best out of Sydney. If you want to attack Walt or attack some of the New South Wales or country or provincial form in New South Wales, that's John's wheelhouse, racingwatch.com.au for all of that, and then you can jump in with the madman in the Discord channel, or you can have noise-free Telegram. It's a great service, and he's full of surprises. Is Kinloch going to Sydney or Queensland?
Don't know, but he's one of those horses, isn't he? Like 20 to 1 when he's well set up in a race, he's nice, but when they find him at $4 or $5, he's a horse you probably want to
hold your
let
nuts.
beat you. Yeah, so I think Kinloch's been good to us. Those colours have been good to us, and we'll watch that race probably. It's a funny, I know it heats up within the next couple of weeks, doesn't it? I know the sort of Blue Diamond trials and stuff are kicking off in Melbourne, and we sort of run
later.
Well, in opposite weeks too. So whilst the 2-year-old's good in Sydney, it'll start heating right up in the next fortnight, I guess, and then it'll be bang, 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 bang. So we're nearly to the autumn, as you say. We've just got to endure a couple more weeks of patience.
Outstanding. It's the Tassie Summer Carnival, and it's now time to look at Launceston on Friday night with Nico. Nico, happy hunting ground down in Tassie at the moment. It's their summer carnival, and the action continues on Australia Day. Launceston has got the night meeting there, and the first race we're going to have a look at is race number 6. It's the Launceston Guineas, 2100-metre race, and the horse you like here is Bold Soul, an impressive winner over 2,000 metres here at Flemington. So Launceston will be an interesting task for him.
Yeah, it's a small field though. Just pretty much like last year, they had small fields. I've always been a big fan of this horse. Sent him out as a bet on the yard stuff, and we also backed the other Payne horse that was flying home late, Crossover Kid. So probably would have rather the result went the other way, given it was 60 to 1. But yeah, I think he was just given a perfect ride that day by Daniel Stackhouse. He's a horse that can hit a big flat spot in his races. He did at Caulfield 2 starts ago, or even his last 2 runs at Caulfield, he hit a flat spot in both of them, and then there didn't seem to be any speed in that race. It was only an even run to the 600, and Stacky sort of took off, and I think he probably helped the horse through that flat spot he can hit, and maybe out to 2,000 metres as well, sort of aided him through that. So I think he's a horse who's already looking for, 2,400 metres. He gets up to 2,100 here, barrier number 5. He should be able to stay out in clear air, and I sort of think the way they rode him last start, I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar here where they just get him out and going early, because that seemed to be the best way to ride him. He doesn't seem to have a massive turn of foot, and I sort of did the race thinking, maybe he's a little bit short at the price, so I just couldn't find anything to beat him. Like, I think he'll beat Macy Moon again. It had a better run than him last start, and he's run over the top of it late. And then where else do you sort of go looking? Like motor races, one at Cranbourne last start, had everything in his favour, and he's had 61 days off. He's going from 2,000 to 2,100. He did trial while in between, but seems like a bit of an ask, and he might be more looking at the Derby, which is in a few weeks' time. And then I thought the Tassie horse that won the maiden last start, Bonitus, was quite good, but this is that he just won a Flemington, Bold Soul. So you think that's a bit of a difference in class, as the market sort of suggests. So I think with a similar sort of ride, he maps that way just to stay out of trouble. And I think Macy Mood and Motor Race probably set up a speed here that's hopefully genuine, and he can just run over the top of them late. I think that extra 100 metres will suit him. And Launceston is a track, although it's quite tight around the corner, it's kind of a bit like Moonee Valley. You can really get building your momentum down the side. And if he's in clear galloping room at that point of the race, I think he should just be too strong for him late. So I'm hoping maybe he drifts a little bit late. I'd probably just wait a little bit. The market is a bit in love with Patrick Payne down there, and it's probably just because he's sending down absolute morals at the moment. Anything he sends there is pretty much just winning. But hopefully there's a little bit of give late, and we get sort of even money or even better, and that'd be a fair enough price to find out again, because I think he's just better than him.
Well, DK, you got a pretty good handle on a few of these.
I was just saying great work for Nico for padding that out, because as he said right at the end was the key. It's just Paddy Payne down there at the carnival. It's just auto bet. Like he takes the right horses down. He took Dunkeld down there last year, see what good horse it is, and when he won those 2 races on the weekend that Nico was tipping, and just picks the right horses to take down other people, a bit of afterthoughts and things like that. He targets it down there and takes them down at the right time. So Yeah, no, I mean, there's one horse to follow. One horse to take out of there. You said with the roughie Nico backed. That crossover kid, dearie me, what a nice horse it is. But that's another story because it's not running there. But that Bold Soul, as he said, it's hard to see Messi Moon turning the tables on it. So Paddy Payne, Tassie Carnival, auto bet.
I would have thought so. Yeah, Motor Race might put it on for him, and hopefully he knocks up, as Nico has said. Race 7 is the other one, their stakes race there over 1,200 metres, and this looks like a beauty also. The horse you like here is GG's Gemstone, Nico, in the green, GG's with the purple.
Yeah, this was coming to the scene sort of like late this time last year, and he was a huge winner on debut, and his form didn't really go on with it. He looked like he could be anything. And then he's come back this preparation. He's been unbeaten in 4 runs. This was probably his toughest test, beating a few handy horses in behind him like Turk Boy, and just absolutely owns him here. This horse is just airborne. His first up win, we tipped him, I'm pretty sure. And
he did.
He
off
fell.
The trials.
He absolutely fell in. And then I thought, maybe he's not as good as people think. And then he just kept sort of progressing and regressing, and now he's won 4 in a row, and just, he finds a race here where he's stepping up to 1,200. A lot of his main dangers are coming back from a mile. Like First Accused did win the Newmarket down there, but he's back from a mile, which he did without last start. And then you sort of go looking around him, and Ballo Bow's best is definitely good enough. I'm just not sure he's come up this campaign. Like his first up win was just, and then he was a bit disappointing at his last few runs. Maybe he could be last start at 1,000 metres, but he's probably got to lift a little bit. But if he does run up to his best ratings, he probably would just win. And that's probably the same with Rebel Factor as well. If he ran up to his best ratings, like this was a horse last season that nearly beat the Inevitable when he was absolutely flying. So he's another horse that if he was at his best, you'd be thinking, geez, he's right in this. He's $23 and comes out of that same 1,000 metre race at Devonport that Ballo Bow does. So maybe you could have a little bit of forgive on them. But I think you're finding so many holes in the opposition, and he just owned them last start. It was a dominant win, and he's probably the only horse in the race that still has some real upside. Like this is probably the rest of their level, and he's just getting up to them. He's got to rise to the weights. I think he goes from 54 up to 58.5, but I think the market will probably factor that in late. And I just couldn't really find anything to beat it. I think the key form tie-in was his second up win. He beat Jaguar Stone, who come out and rattled pretty well in the Newmarket. So that's probably a key form reference. You can tie him in with First Accused, who won that race. So, he's just a horse on the up, and I see no reason why he can't win again here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of resistance in the market, just with a few other horses that have a bit better ratings. But I don't feel like he's been in a race that sort of landed him to run a really big rating. So I think Sunday or Friday night could be his day where he puts it all together and puts up a big figure, and then the market will probably really catch up to him. So in a bit of a tricky race, but if a few of them showed up at their best, they probably would beat him, but there's no evidence to suggest that they are going that good. So with the GG.
It's a good one. He doesn't look like he's going to stop at 1,200, and I know that first up win was over 1,200 and he fell in, but just it looks like he's just going through brick walls at the moment. Maybe barrier 1, hemmed away the fence. Can he pick him up if he gets into a bit of traffic? Has he got that turn of foot, or does he need time to wind up?
I think he does have that sort of turn of foot where he probably can, and the way this track does play, it's usually advantageous to draw in, and in a race where there's probably not a stack of speed, I think he can settle closer than what he has previously in a few runs. So there's a few little question marks with him, but just like there's so many knocks on the others that I just kept coming back to him and thought, it's actually a pretty tricky card. Outside of them, I didn't really find much, and the market's going up for any other races. I didn't really find much that sort of was too appealing. A lot of those maidens probably lack a little bit of depth, and a few horses that you're backing that have had 16 or 10 starts and haven't really hit the frame. So I thought we'll go with a few horses that are just winning. You probably know what you're going to get. So I think if he gets the breaks and a few things in his favour, and nothing improves from what they've done recently, he's definitely the horse to beat.
Definitely looks like the best setup horse. Yeah, against some bloody tough old boilers. There'll be some sort of finale to his preparation. Horses like indispensable first the cues. It's going to be an absolute must-watch race there. Outstanding. If you're starting to love the Tasmanian racing, you can sort of do the form and try and beat Nico to the punch there. TasRacing FormplusPro, or you can just ride off Nico's coattails. Very easy thing to do, and I'd probably prefer that myself. But you can join the TasRacing website for free. It's sensational, so you don't have to pay a cracker, and you can access all the additional replays. So you've got head-ons and Stewards Vision, and you can build your own black book, so you can get that SMS'd or emailed to yourself. And Launceston Cup Day's a cracking day that's coming up as well, so that's on the 28th of February. So if you need a little sojourn with the missus or a lad's trip down there, I'm telling you that the Launceston Cup on a Wednesday.
Great day.
Absolute.
I had a runner in that 1 year, Scoop.
Mm.
The most excited. I couldn't talk before the race. I was the most nervous, excited. I was a mess. Travelled all the way down there, took all the family down, and we're a 7-2 chance. Like we're a live chance, and B Shin to ride, and we got him down there, and didn't work out for us. But that people can imagine having a runner in Melbourne Cup or a big race. I couldn't. I was dribbling before the bloody Launceston Cup. But anyway. Yeah, no, it's a good day down there. Park at the casino and all that's good fun.
I'm a fluker's chance to go down. How are you placed on a Wednesday, late February, Nico? Could we sneak you down there for a bit of a look? Bit of mounting yard mail on a Wednesday out of Lonnie Cup?
I wouldn't put it past me. I know one of my good mates lives in Hobart actually, so maybe Hobart might be more my go. Get a bit of free com, but I don't know. Is Launceston hard to get to? Probably harder than Hobart, I would have thought, but. So I don't know. So I've never been there.
Nah, easy flight across. Too easy. A bit harder for me. I'd probably have to get 2 planes from the Gold Coast, but be an hour flight and it'd be easy going. So we might go crash on Bookie Steve's couch or something like that if we get a bit of a look in at the Launceston Cup. But 28th of Feb, make sure you put that in your diary and check that one out. If not this year, make sure you get down there. Donnie is seeing him like beach balls at the moment, and hopefully he can go one better. As I said, Dream Smart last week was nightmare fuel, and hopefully he can go one better this Saturday at Sunshine Coast.
Happy New Year, gents. Back again for Little Birdie. See if we can find a couple more winners throughout this year. The best bet this weekend comes up in Sunshine Coast, race 1, number 2, Ringers Reward. It's about even money, about $2. It looks like the class horse of the field, up to 600 of the 7-day backup suit. Chased a really handy horse last week in Fortuna, almost got it on the line. It'll get back, but Sunny Coast Straight will suit it. Around $2 seems a touch of value, so I've taken some of that. The next best, we go to race 5, Vindicta. It is number 10. It trialled like a superstar. It was first up on debut. Got a wet track and still won, still ran good time. Drops in weight, got speed on. It'll have last crack. Bossed up looks a danger. Like to save on it. But Vindicta around $10 looks a beautiful each way play. So the 2 best bets are race 1, number 2, Rings Reward, and race 5, Vindicta. Good luck.
I think Donnie's on the money here. Interesting, the second horse in the market here, Sunshine Coast Race 1, is a horse called Captain Fenkel. Really slow maturing, sort of lightly framed horse, this Captain Fenkel. Won, what was it, on the 17th. So won, I think, midweek at Doomben last week. And I'm surprised that it's backing up this quickly, and I think it might need a little bit more time. And I think the class drop here for Ringers Reward makes it almost the M word. So at around the even money mark, I'll be anchoring that into many multis and getting some horses rolling through that one for sure. So I think he's going to kick off really well there. And I'm interested to see that he's taking on Bossed Up in race 5. I think that race has got a little bit of a tail to it. So Golan's got the even money pop there, and he's obviously siding with Vindicta. So pretty impressive winner. It's been sort of $15 into $6 early on the heavy track. So I'll be interested to see if that translates on the good rated surface. I think the large amount of rain might hit sort of Sunday or Monday. So be all over the bomb and see what's going to happen there. But just the runoff from some of that cyclone activity up near Rockhampton and sort of Townsville, sort of Cairns-ish area, I'd say the Sunshine Coast track's going to sort of be in the good 4 range, and I think the rain will come a little bit later there. So interesting second bet there, Vindicta, but Donnie is absolutely running full of confidence and running through brick walls at the moment. TopSport Steam race 2 at the Sunshine Coast. The first one here. It's Lead on Me 700 at $2.45. Don't really have any black bookers or anything there against that horse, but Dream Smart is obviously on the back up there, so it'll be interesting to see how it performs. But I'd say that's going to be the third week in a row that Dream Smart backs up, so I'd be surprised if not many horses can sort of cop that, especially as a 2-year-old. I'd be expecting it to be a scratching there, but that's now into around the sort of the $2.15 mark at TopSport there. Lead Me On. The next horse here is race 3, number 7, and it is called Party Spirit. Again, haven't quite got to that stage.
I only know that horse because we ran against it the other day. And in that race, when I had a look at it, I thought, it might be a query to strong, even though it won that race at Warwick. I thought, we might be stronger than it at the end of a strong 1,200. So I see it's back to 1,000 metres there, and I think it's a 1,000-metre horse or 1,100-metre horse from what I've had a look at it.
So yeah, it's got that Zoom meter form. So obviously Zoom meter's going head to head against me in the Class 6 when I've backed Viminelli. But I think it's a much better assignment for it there. So haven't missed it. And the next one here is Moonee Valley Race 3. This one's for you, Nico. Race 3, number 1. It's Born Hustler. $111 at $19. Race 3 at the Valley on Saturday. Any thoughts there?
We haven't got that far yet, but know her quite well, and she's a mare or filly that can put herself on top of the speed and can keep kicking, but you'd think she probably need a few things in her favour to be winning a race of that strength at that price. So maybe the punter's seen maybe a few map favours there or something.
DK, Metro DK, Group 1 DK, the man of many hats, maiden DK. What do you got for us this week?
Well, yes, we're light on the ground for out wide, as you know. I'll explain because we record this at 9 o'clock on a 9:30 on a Thursday. There's no Saturday provincial races out. There's no Sunday provincial races out, so pretty limited. Got Hanging Rock tomorrow, so I said I'm cured of dingoes, so no Hanging Rock. Tonight's a bit early for people to watch the show. It's been scratched anyway, so we go to Saturday because Saturday Moonee Valley Scoot, and this is our mate. I know this horse quite well because our mate in the know with Snow owns this horse called, I think it's in race 1, called Acid Wash, and he's been messaging me before it's running and asking what I think each time and things like that. But this is a real nice horse. So, it was a flashing light on debut. I thought it was a moral down the straight, second start. And I think it was just looking for further. It just couldn't peel back the winner. I think staying at 1,200 again. Went to, stepped up to the 1,400 and it was
put a hole in.
It was supposed to be, put a hole in. It was supposed to be a moral the other day, and it just had it dictated in front. And just one as easy as you like. It's green and learning. That's one thing. So what it does do is it's got a little bit funny at the start, jumps out a bit. So really like it drawn out here. She nearly knocked half the field down coming out the gates the other day, J Car. So here it's drawn 8 of 8, which I like for it. I like it's a little bit sided. Wouldn't want it sort of getting stuck down inside. So I like 8 of 8, gives it options. This is a field of, it's a maiden winner. It's in a field of sort of maiden winners. The one I was worried about, I think, a gaze in the noms, Surprise Valley, and it didn't accept. So it was the only one I was really worried about. So Acid Wash for the Snowman in the know with Snow, give it strength. Race 1, Moonee Valley.
$2.20 against Sox Nation, Cognac in Mine, Mahera, Magnolia Lodge, Crackle and Burn.
They're all
Burn
maiden
Box.
winners except for Sox Nation. Might have won its maiden 2 ago, I think. So I just think this is a nice horse. It's an improving type. So it just feels like a real nice horse to me.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and the things it beat, I think it beat a couple at Geelong of Waller. I think it beat, even though the things it beat at Cranbourne, the 2 things at Wallers, they came out in Quinlan at a race the other day on Friday, so that form's all right. So hopefully our man Snowy's got a nice one there.
Fingers crossed. Nico, rubber stamp.
Oh, I haven't looked at the race yet, but I was with DK. That Teddy ran at Flemington. Thought he was going to be extremely hard to beat, and just didn't work out for him that day. But in another fairly strong form race, so he's a horse with plenty of upside, and I think even there's been a few others out of that race that are around well last start. So 4 lines around him stacking up, and should be a good card out there at Moonee Valley. I thought one from there might be Flash Feeling. Thought he'd be suited inside draw. Out to 2,000 metres, and Craig Williams going aboard C is probably my one at the moment for the Valley to be keeping a close eye on.
Outstanding. All right, should be a great
Can I
day's
just give
racing.
a DK public service announcement too, Scooty?
Go for it, DK.
I've been watching the Big Bash, watching the Big Bash final last night, watching Gladiators. There's been a lot of sponsorship by this joint called Yui, right? Yui Insurance. If you ever think about contacting them, don't. It is the biggest punish you'll ever put yourself through. So just do not. It is, mate. They try and get you on the phone for 30 or 40 minutes and ask you all these stuff. Mate, just when you do your insurance, just go online, fill it out online, do it in 10 minutes, get your quotes. They try and get you for 30 or 40 minutes and they're still dearer than what you get anywhere else. But it is the biggest punish. So just don't fall into the ads. It's all bullshit. So public service announcement, because I'll just say, just helping people out, because there's all this Yui crap, in this sponsorship.
Littered.
No, I'm just telling, I've been there, I've done it. No bigger punish ever than contacting Yui.
There you go. So they do car insurance and home and contents and all that sort of thing. While we're on the insurance line, I'll give a little bit of a plug to Suncorp, because Suncorp, obviously my car got stolen back in, July, and I had some drama with it. The repair shop sort of fixed it, didn't fix it. I've basically had a free rental car for the last 7 months. So if you get up them, you can keep the car rental for longer, and they just haven't shirked the task at anything. So a smart man in insurance once told me that if you're going to go with an insurance company, you need to go with Suncorp, Amy, and all the big boys. And whilst the smaller joints may be a little bit cheaper, or your budget directs, or all that sort of stuff, when shit hits a fan, you need one of the big boys, because they're the only ones that can handle when shit hits a fan. So could be something in that, DK. Yui might be a bit average.
Salmon trout, Yui, salmon trout. Leave me out.
So yeah, Suncorp are a big yes for me. So it's a back Suncorp and lay Yui. So what about you, Walt? You'd need lots of insurance in your life.
I just can't
You're
work
too
out
scared
how
to leave the
between
house.
HCF, NRMA, and all the other ones, I pay more in insurance every year than my life's possessions are worth. Apart from my kids, I guess. I guess you probably got to value them up a bit more than $7,000 a year. But it's good. It's a good business.
Frank Hudson, the old bookie, he used to have it sorted. He used to just insure everyone's cars.
Yeah.
DK, you'd know all those
He's
stories,
a man,
wouldn't you?
Frankie, yeah, and bridging finance and stuff like that. If you needed something done, he used to insure the those bonuses in races and stuff like that for race clubs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hole-in-one insurance. There used to be huge money in that. There used to be, I don't know about insuring horses. There's a few stories there, isn't there? But it's
Anyway,
a different
another
tale.
show.
Well
They've
done.
gone through the roof, the horse.
Outstanding.
What are they called? Premiums?
Insurance. There you go. Got it all. Bet doctor.
Didn't think I'd be talking about that today, to be fair. And I was sitting in the car for 2 hours trying to get here from a 30-minute drive. It was awesome.
Outstanding. All right. Hopefully we've tipped you in a couple of winners, and we'll see you next week.